Hello, good morning. This is Professor Khan, and this is part of the EST-103 lab. And in this video, we will go over steam boilers, connection, and safety checks and basic guidelines. So the first thing, this is an oil steam boiler. You can see the boiler over there, the burner over there, and this is the oil line. And if you go to the panel here, you can follow up the connection. So the first connection is the fuse box, or the circuit breaker in this case, and it's going to be our wire for the plug-in. Then we'll have our firematic switch, emergency switch, another switch next to the boiler, and the power coming in as neutral and hot. Okay, there are two major safety controls that has to go through a steam boiler before doing anything. The first thing is the low water cutoff switch. This switch detects the water level inside the boiler and shuts off the power coming in case of low water condition. And so this has to be connected in series with the line voltage. So if you look over here, you will see that the neutral is not connected. It's coming all the way back from the control over there, but the hot is going through this switch first. Then it goes up to the high pressure cutoff, and this switch will ensure that the pressure inside the boiler is below 2 psi. Usually it is covered with small little cover, and you see here is the side glass. This one is kind of dirty, so I will show you in the video how do you clean this side glass and make sure the water is leveled. And usually this is the level, and sometimes you see a level here where the water is supposed to be. I'll show you in this boiler over here. It's supposed to show you there's no level, but it's supposed to have a line in here to indicate the water level, the minimum water level inside the burner. Okay, so and we have a kind of this is a lab setting, so it's not actual connection. We have our thermostat wire over here coming all the way to the burner. So these are the two connections. So we will do the wiring going in series from the power through the low water cutoff, then the pressure switch, and coming to the burner control. There's a similar connection over here. It's another boiler, and you see the same plug-in emergency switches, and this is the low water cutoff, and the top over there is the pressure switch, thermostat, and low water cutoff. So there are two things we will do. First, we will check the connection of all those wires. That's the first thing. Then I will show you how to take out this side glass and clean it. Then how to check the low water cutoff function. So we'll turn it on and see if it shuts off by draining water from the boiler, and this is something you should do once a year to flush the system. So we'll flush the system and we will hear this thing shuts off. Okay, and the second thing is the high pressure. We will switch. We can check that function by using a screwdriver, because otherwise we have to wait for high pressure condition to happen, and we don't want that to take place. And yeah, so the two things we will do with this lab is the connection of those two switches in series, the wiring of the primary control over here, which, as you can see, we'll have the power coming from the main line, and we have the neutral coming from the main line as well. So we have neutral power, and we have our thermostat over here. So the thermostat will control the primary, and all the wires in here will go to one of those connections. And we did that before on the board. So the blue will go into the ignition. This is my ignition over here, and those two will go into the FF terminals. The motor here will get the orange line, and again, they all need to have neutrals, and in theory all this is supposed to fit in this little box. And what else? We don't have an oil valve in here, so we will do the wiring. We'll turn it on. I will show you how to check, how to clean first the side glass, and then we will do the draining of the water to see if it shuts off in safety. Okay, good?
Yep.
So now I would like to show you how to clean the side glass. It gets full of rust. So these valves are supposed to be open. What is open? Left or right? Left to loosely, right? So this is open, it's open, so now there is flow. So I'm going to close those two pipes. So I don't get any water. They're closed. And you see this valve in here? It's supposed to drain the water inside the this in here. And open this a little bit. It should allow me to loosen. And you can substitute that with a valve to make things a little bit easier, but it's not something you do very often. So it's completely empty right now. You can loosen. Usually there's a guard, steel guard like this in here to protect the glass from being broken, but it's missing in this case. So you'll go with the channel lock or a wrench gently and try to open it up. Loosen it up. So it's open. Lift the loosey again, lift left. Should come out. Be very gentle because this is again glass that can break. It's not really a big deal if it breaks. It's just a starting indicator. Go and scrape it off or bring some brush. Wash it. This one is kind of clean, so there is no need. Then you put it back. You can see the rubber over here. Go up, be gentle. It's something you want to do very often because it does matter. So you can see the actual flow. It gets a little bit confusing if you can see the flow of water and the water level correctly. Let's do this again. Very patient, it's going to brittle. You don't want it to break. Again, you can measure the length of this breaks. You can put one in there, on the side, tighten. It's a good idea to have this because it allows you to drain all the water from it. Okay, open. This is whatever water is inside the tank. So eventually we will want to flush. And I'll do the flush when we turn on the boiler. Okay. Okay, so now this is another boiler and it's on now. It's heating. The water, we can tell it's in the right level. It's not too hot. And I would like to test for the low water cutoff and make sure it functions. So I'm going to start bleeding. Do it slowly. Okay, the water is still cold. carpet. And it's able to see the water is coming very murky. Has a lot of rust in it. It's a good practice to do that once a season, because all the rust coming through the radiators. And I want to see this is the level where the water is supposed to be measured. So once it reaches this level, it should shut off. You cannot test the pressure switch without having this on. Okay, you can turn it on to check for continuity if you want, but this is a way to see it actually responds while the motor is on. It did shut off the power, so I'm going to close this, and that's good. I mean, it's working. So if I want to refill the boiler, I'll go to the makeup water valve over here. But when you fill the boiler, this one is cold. If it's hot, make sure you do it in small bursts. Do it for like 15 seconds and wait like 10 seconds, so you don't shock the boiler with cold water, because now it's outside around like 50. Probably water is going to be very cold. So I'll do the filling right now. And this is how you check for the low water cutoff and refill it and make sure it turns out again. Right, thank you.